Hi, this is Reflections, Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. Today I want to discuss, there's so much going on right now. I don't even need to go into it. Japan, nuclear reactors, tsunamis, earthquakes, to name a few. And then, of course, there's the emotional crises, our men and women coming home from war, traumatized, the protests, the cruelty going on, the protesters in the Middle East, on and on. And so this morning, Carolyn Myss, and it's been around the internet because several people sent it to me and I've seen it on Facebook, said something very profound that would help us to explore this morning as we are learning to integrate the emotions of the trauma that we are seeing and feeling on our planet right now. She said, excuse me, the moment you come to trust chaos, you see God clearly. Chaos is divine order versus human order. Change is divine order versus human order. When the chaos becomes safety to you, then you know you're seeing God clearly. Well, yeah, when the chaos becomes order, we are seeing God clearly. And I think many of us feel it, know it, at a deep place in us, we hold that space. And that's what we're here to do right now, hold that space of knowing. And yet, we are graced and gifted with emotional bodies that see what's going on in the world and interpret it emotionally as well as mentally. And you just can't help but be moved. So I want to talk about the earth changes and how they affect us emotionally. And I've tuned in on this with Ezekiel on several occasions. And there are many sayings like you're not a human having a godly experience, you're God having a human experience. I agree with that, but you are nevertheless having a human experience, and this does involve your emotions. So why do we say it's so important to clear emotions right now? And I'm not so sure clear emotions is even the right word. I like the word integrate the emotions, because as Ezekiel has taught me, when you can bring anger and love into the same breath in your heart, that's divine. That's, I suppose you could say it's clearing, and yet they're polarized emotions. So I feel when I close my eyes and I'm working with Ezekiel on emotions, this is what I see. I see counter-rotating emotional fields. Most of them pretty stuck, a lot of them with miasms, black holes, some of them actually fractured. I've been shown a healthy one. I haven't really seen a healthy one in a human being. And yet a healthy one spins and makes a beautiful vibration in which all the feelings are present, just the same as all the sounds being present or all the colors being present, because it's out of that we create. So how do we walk through this? In one aspect, I look at this planet and I look at people and I say, wow, this is a planet pretty much across the board suffering from post-traumatic stress, whether it's more distant or at home and personal. And then Ezekiel has talked to me about post-traumatic stress. And it is that which has happened to you that you can make no emotional or mental sense of. It makes no sense. It makes no sense because as God, killing one another, seeing thousands die in one swift blow, makes no sense. And yet, did I say as God? To humans, it makes no sense. To the God self in us, we understand that we are here growing and expanding creation. We're here expanding God's self. And so these things from that aspect do make sense. But how do we handle the tremendous emotions that many of us are experiencing? Well, I can only say I know of some ways, and everyone has to walk this journey into the feelings to find that ecstasy, to find that safe place in the chaos. So I see Carolyn Myss's statement as being absolutely true, but I think we need some guidance and we need a roadmap. Number one, I would say always, it just feels so good. I know it's like you cross your hands over your heart, you close your eyes, you breathe deeply, and you go to that space. In the worst of circumstances, it's there. Another thing is you talk about it. The more you talk about it, it's a misconception. People think the more you talk about it, the more energy you're giving to it. The more you talk about it, the more you're giving your sound, your breath, your mind an opportunity to dive in and make some sense of it and put it together in something that doesn't deactivate you, which post-traumatic stress does, but activate you. Post-traumatic stress is confused emotions. They have nowhere to go because the mind can't make sense of the feelings. So our journey is to explore them in depth, not dumb them down and hide them. And that's why at this time on our planet, it's so important to at least begin to understand and know the emotions and their tools. And so take a look in your life this Monday morning at how you feel about what's going on in the world. And yes, think positively, have gratitude for all in your life, breathe deeply, feel the love and compassion, but acknowledge that by the same token, it's fearful. Your inner child, your little child is scared of all this, doesn't really quite understand it. You know, it wouldn't make sense to a child, just like the first time when you were actually a very little child, something traumatic happened to you, a smack out of nowhere, a withdrawal of love, whatever it was for you, you suddenly realize, wow, I'm not so safe. This is scary. And so we are healing that part of ourselves cosmically, galactically, in God, in all your belief systems. So there's a lot of work to be doing. But I guess my message today is one of faith, hope, and excitement. It's a journey, of course. Dive in, learn what the different emotions mean. Learn to breathe them through. Learn how you can use them to change a thought pattern. This is the movie What the Bleep. There's so much out there to help us. That's why it's all coming up, all the books on emotions and on television and everybody talking about them. Well, why? It's time. It's the only way we're going to shift this and not become stuck like our cells have been programmed to from all the trauma we've experienced in many, many human lifetimes. It's time to clear them out, clear our DNA out. And so these things that are going on the earth now are our opportunity. Now, I'm not saying to be joyful and unmindful. Of course, we're whatever our choices were. If you chose to be one of those people in those very hard-hit Japanese cities as a soul, there was a reason. And it will all come back together. Nothing is ever lost on this planet. So let's take a deep breath this morning and once again renew our understanding that move into that space, breathe into that space, go there, allow your feelings to teach you what you need to change, what you need to integrate, and then you can allow your emotions to help you create the new. So it's about learning about them and how to use them. We're here to help you. Nancy, Joy, and Ezekiel, and many, many others. Lots of great links on my website. There's going to be a teleclass coming up, I believe it's April 13th, where you can come on in and ask Ezekiel and I questions. We'll work on this some more. I'm pretty excited about that, so look for that on my website. Glastonbury's coming up. Actually, it's getting pretty full. So that's a wonderful thing. So have a great week, and we'll talk about this some more next week. Bye now.